What's going on, guys? We're with Jedha Patrol, back with another video. Today we're going to take a look at a third-party figure from SooSooToys, which I happen to get at Pop Collectibles, and you might know what it is because of the thumbnail and the title, but it is the Omnipotent hero, aka Omniman, from the comics and also from the Amazon animated show, which was freaking amazing. Can't wait for season 2. Season 1 was just amazing. Big fan, big fan. But anyways, I'm gonna check this out. Now, SooSooToys does have Invincible, they're calling him Mark, coming out very soon, I think. Very soon. So getting these two together, posed up, either fighting or crime fighting together, depending on what part of the storyline you want to get into. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So let's get into the unboxing. All right, guys, we got the Omnipotent hero here from SooSooToys, SST038 for those keeping count. I've had this figure for about a week. I wanted to do some tests on it before making this video, so there you go. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I've had it for a minute. But I got mine from Pop Collectibles. If those happen to be wondering where to pick this up, that's where I get most of my my stuff. SooSooToys typically makes some pretty amazing figures. However, there has been some controversy around this one. Look at that one. That's just normal art. That's not the actual figure. It's kind of cool, right? So we got Omniman here, and there is some controversy regarding the cape. Now, I've had this cape. Like I said, I've had it for about a week or so, and I want to talk about it because there's a lot of controversy with this particular cape bleeding onto the suit. So I want to discuss that first, and then we'll kind of get into some of these accessories because I know some people are going to be asking about this. So I actually got this. I'm guessing this is one of their like second batches, if you will, if they want to have that. Second batch figure. I was going to get this earlier, and then they held it back and did whatever they did with the cape because of the community. So you guys pointed out there's an issue. Some of you guys who got the first batch of this definitely had some bleeding going on with the cape bleeding onto the white suit, which is no good. Nobody wants that. So they held off, and then I got one of these second batch ones. Before I even put this on the figure, which you do have to attach, it doesn't come like this in the box. You have to attach it as a hook here and a hook here, which is a little difficult. You got to unzip this and then put it, it's a thing. It's not difficult. It just takes time. I took this cape and I soaked it in water and just vinegar, and I let it sit for 30 minutes or an hour or so. And then I just let it dry. Put it on some paper towels, let it dry, and zero bleeding. I mean, zero bleeding from this onto the paper towels. So then I felt confident to put it on the figure. Now, how do you tell if you got a first batch one or a second batch one? I have no idea. Maybe SooSooToys can answer that. But as of today, after having this for a week, I've had zero bleeding onto the back. You can see it. Like there's none, right? There's nothing going on there. So that is good, right? Unfortunately, those first ones that went out, that was a problem. And we've seen this with Hot Toys figures with their Jedi robes and capes and different things like that. They'll bleed sometimes. You got to wash those out. So this is not an unforeseen thing in the 6-year world or first time only we've seen this. But it is going to be difficult when you have a stark white suit with a bright red cape. I mean, it's just going to be a thing, right? But let's get into this, and we'll kind of talk about the figure. So obviously the figure itself is quite fantastic. And there's Tucker. Hey, Tucker, come here. What are you doing? Are you interrupting my video? But there was Tucker. So we've got this guy. He does come with the typical SooSooToys stand, which looks great. Got the Omniman logo right there, diamond plate pattern, nice little wash and weathering going on all around it. Got some blood splatters going on. That's kind of cool. Dynamic flight stand, and then we got this thing. Now, this is that World Box figure, so it's going to have single joint elbows, and this stand this clamp that the SooSooToys includes is not strong enough. This polymer, plastic, whatever this is, it's just not, see how thin it is? It's not thick enough to withstand the weight of this World Box body. I've broken multiples of these, so I know the Superman I got not too long ago, broke that one, had to break out another one. I've broken them. Just these things are just so flipping heavy. These don't support it. So SooSooToys, I would request that you look at that. That is a problem. Don't be shocked if yours breaks. And literally what happens is this part right here, this little cap, will pop off, and then there's a spring in there, and it's just a pain in the ass. Or it'll just split in half to me in general. We do have some hands. We've got 2 relaxed hands on the figure. Then we're going to have some other hands that are actually in the box. So you've got some weathering going on. They're not just straight up red. There is some wash going on with these. But fist, you get 2 fists because you got to punch things if you're Omniman, right? You get 2 little pointing hands, which if you all watch Omniman, you know he likes to go, come on, think, Mark. One of those deals, that's pretty cool. We got a nice little hand right here, which I imagine is holding the flaxen head, detached head, kind of deal with that. And then you got a glove, which honestly is pretty cool. I'm glad they included it. They're going to include it with Invincible. But I feel like it's a little undersized. Like if that's his hand, right? I feel like the glove is a little undersized. But, you know, it's fine. It's probably not something I'm going to use anyways, but it's nice to have. There's some nice weathering going on here, some nice stitch work and whatnot. So it's cool. I mean, we don't have another 6-scale figure with a baseball glove that I can think of. So we do have our flaxen decapitated head right here. Look at this thing. That's freaking cool, man. We got some blood dripping out. I mean, this sculpt is crazy with like the detached blood and guts and spinal column and all that stuff going on. That's just a cool beast. I don't know. So you got some spots in here for him to hold it. You can see like indentations for the hand. There's a thumb spot there and another hand over there. So we can kind of do this section right here. We can get this thing going on here. There we go. So there we go. That's how you do that. Just wrap it around there just like that. Plug it into the hand and you're good to go. I like that they actually made this for the intent. We don't have to force it, right? So that's kind of cool. And then we get 2 head sculpts. So we do have this screaming head sculpt, which I think is quite fantastic, if I must say so myself. I am a big fan of this thing. I mean, SooSooToys generally, especially in 2022, stepped up their game with head sculpts. But look at the sculpt and the paint work on the hair. It's crazy, man. I mean, they're knocking it out of the park on this head sculpt. The teeth, the tongue in there, the expression. Love everything about this. Not sure which one I'm going to use, but I very much like this one. But the figure itself, let's go ahead and get into this. And like I said earlier, this is a world box body, all right? So it's got a little less range of motion going on than normal. I do not like these world box bodies. I've told them I don't like these world box bodies, but here we are because we're going to have issues. We're going to have a single joint elbow. That's one issue. And the other issue is just the sheer weight of it. I mean, this is a solid chunk of plastic. It is huge. Proportion-wise, on point. No issues with that whatsoever. It is beautiful. Like, I think if you're just going to have him, like, just there, I think proportions are perfect. I mean, you got this other head sculpt we're going to get. I like this one as well. I love the hair. I mean, just everything about the head sculpt is on point. But I just think the body itself is a little lacking, right? So, I mean, it's essentially, I mean, it really is like nothing going on in range of motion. And like ab crunch region, like zero, right? Like you can see, like there's nothing. You got a little bit of torso twist, a little bit. It's a little hindered by the suit, which is, you know, to be expected. But as far as ab crunch or going backwards, like there's nothing. Going up, going to go up about there. You can probably push it a little further. Again, single joint there. You've got the gauntlets coming down. The gauntlet and the hand don't match 100%. They're a little odd. And I imagine these hands are going to be a pain in the butt to change without heating up. So I'm just expecting that. I have not changed any of the hands on this thing. Love the logo. Love the character design. I mean, it's got plenty of split range of motion. Double bend on the knee, and then we come down to this single boot, which is going to be, again, a nightmare. Oh, no, it's split. Oh, my goodness. Then we come down to this split boot, which I just popped the foot off. But anyways, there's the split boot. There's this. I feel like the boot, the feet down here need a little bit more like blood or something on here, but yeah, that's okay. Down here, we got a little tread action going on. It's just a beautiful, beautiful figure. There is a wire in the cape, although if must be honest with you, it feels very weak and I don't see it holding any particular pose. There's no wire along the bottom, but I think the colors match well enough. I mean, they're not 100% on, but they're well enough. And if you wanted to paint that or color that a little better, you could. But I'm just happy that I'm not getting any color bleed. Kind of dig that. But let's have some fun with this. Let's pose it up and see what it looks like in a posed up situation. And hopefully it looks amazing, as I think it will. All right, let's talk about Omniman from SooSooToys. And the first thing you will notice is I added more wires to the cape. Actually, they're not actually added. They're attached to the stand. I cheated on that one because the wires in the cape, actually you can see part of it sticking right there. The wires in the cape are not strong enough to sustain this. So with some trickery, you can do this. If you wanted to get really, really tricky, you could like use black wire, but I just used whatever hell I had on hand. And also I used a Hot Toys Iron Man flight stand because the flight stand they include, the pole is fine, the clamp is weak. I think I've mentioned that before. But regardless of that, if you want to have him flying, get a different stand. Those clamps, or at least get another clamp because those clamps are just not good for these World Box bodies that are extremely thick and heavy. But like I said earlier, no staining so far on the suit. I think the colors look phenomenal. The head sculpt looks even. I mean, SooSooToys, as far as third-party head sculpts and paint applications, there is none better. I mean, there is literally none better in the game right now. So maybe we'll get another competitor in the near future, and maybe they'll do something. But as of right now, SooSooToys is on the top shelf when it comes to third-party figures. Super excited to see whenever Mark actually decides to ship. Hopefully it's before the end of the year. I think that's what they said. Hopefully no delays or anything like that. But I'm super excited for this particular one. I think the pose works phenomenally, if I must say so myself. And he's going to look awesome on the shelf, wherever I figure out where he's going to end up. Now, this might be how you would pose yours without the crazy wires. I removed the wires, got him just a straight up and down hovering pose as he would do, changed out the head sculpt, put 2 fists in there, and we're rocking and rolling. I would recommend, and this is just a common thing with SooSooToys, I would absolutely recommend heating up the hands before trying to switch them out. They, just be careful with that. It's one of those things. Whatever material they're using for the hands, they need to be heated up. So warning for that one, make sure you do that. It'll make your life a lot easier. I did change out the head sculpt so we could see this one on the figure. And I absolutely love this one. I love the other one. I think they're both great, right? It's an animated figure that they moved to live action. We've seen other companies attempt to do that, sometimes better than others. And I think it looks quite fantastic. I love the coloration. And the the wire in the cape, if you're going to do a pose like this, is fine. So you can get a little bit of movement in it, but you're not going to get anything crazy out of it. So keep that in mind as well. Overall, I like the figure. I do wish they would change the bodies. You know my thoughts on single joints on any figure. They should not exist in the year 2022 and certainly not in 2023. These World Box bodies have got to go. Like they gotta kick them out the door. Like they got to find another solution for that. So even if they bump the price up a little bit and give us a better body, I think everybody would be just okay with that. I mean, don't double it or anything, but invest in a better body. The range of motion of the torso is non-existent if you want to ab crunch. That ain't happening. The single joint elbows, lame. But other than that, if you're just going on appearance, it's a damn good looking figure. All right, last but not least, we threw in a little walking pose with the head going on, the flaxen head, and I think it looks cool too. I don't know. I kind of like him flying around. I kind of like the pose. I might go back to the first one, even though I've got to borrow another stand from a different company to make it fly. Might do that. And yeah, I don't know. You guys let me know. What do you think? Should we do like a walking pose, standing, heroic, museum-esque, or should we go in the air? I feel like Omniman is a flying dude. And especially when Invincible comes. Like the only thing I'm really hesitant about is when Invincible comes, I feel like they're going to do a more posable body with him. So getting these two to fight inevitably might be a chore with the limitations of the body they chose for this particular figure. So there, enough about the bodies. You know my thoughts on that. Would I pick this up? Yes, I would, because it's freaking beautiful. I would definitely soak the cape Even though I had no issues with mine, I would absolutely do that anyways. Just water and some white distilled vinegar. Mix it together. You don't need a whole lot. Let it sit for an hour or so. And then I just let mine air dry. It took a day or so because it's freaking cold right this second. But let it air dry. Throw it on there. Rock and roll. You got to unzip the back to put the cape on. No big deal there. That was pretty easy. Pretty straightforward and not difficult. Barely an inconvenience. And I think, I mean, just damn good. Not perfect. Definitely not perfect. But pretty freaking good. If you want to pick one of these up, you can check out Pop Collectibles. There's a link in the description below. They've got them in stock along with Invincible. They might have sold out Invincible. You have to check on that one. They might have sold out on that. But we got the Rogue coming from SooSooToys. We got the Old Man Logan coming from SooSooToys. We got some anime figures from One Piece or Demon Slayer or both. I get those mixed up. But anyways, super excited for all these things, especially Rogue and Mark. That's going to be super exciting. Anyways, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Now's a great time to do that. And as always, click what you like. See you next time.